The command deck fell silent as Commander Varric's scales flared crimson, a clear sign of agitation among the saurian species. His clawed hand slammed against the holographic display, scattering tactical projections across the bridge. Unacceptable. His voice reverberated through the steel chambers of the ISS Horizon's edge. Remove those creatures from this vessel immediately, or I will have security do it by force. Lena stood her ground, arms crossed, her expression maddeningly calm. Behind her, 3 juvenile Carvathi shifted restlessly, their obsidian scales catching the blue emergency lighting, 6 eyes each gleaming with predatory focus. The largest of the 3, Threx, moved closer to Lena's leg, a low rumble building in his throat. With respect, "Commander," Lena said, her voice steady. "They're not going anywhere." The bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Everyone knew the Carvathi, apex predators from the death world of Carvath Prime. Adults stood 12 feet tall, possessed strength that could rend starship hulls, and had been responsible for the extinction of 4 separate species on their homeworld before achieving spaceflight. The galaxy had collectively sighed with relief when the Carvathi joined the Galactic Coalition as a civilized species, but civilized didn't mean harmless. "Dr. Chen," Varric hissed, using her formal title like a weapon, "those juveniles are still Category 5 predators. They should be in containment, not roaming freely on a Coalition research vessel. Your scientific curiosity does not supersede safety protocols." Lena's eyes narrowed. "They're not specimens, Commander. They're refugees." The word hung in the air like a challenge. 3 weeks earlier, Lena had been part of a xenobiology survey team on Carvath Prime's southern continent when raiders attacked a Carvathi nursery colony. The adults fought back with devastating efficiency, but not before the attackers destroyed the breeding chambers. These 3 cubs, Threx, Kessa, and Mira, had been orphaned in the chaos. When Lena found them huddled in the smoking ruins, terrified and alone, something fundamental had shifted in her. Humans understood orphans. Humans understood protection. She'd wrapped them in thermal blankets, whispered soft reassurances, and carried them back to the ship. The cubs, barely 3 months old and already the size of earth wolves, had imprinted on her immediately. "Refugees or not," Varric continued, his tail lashing behind him, "regulations are clear. Undomesticated Category 5 organisms require—" Threx's growl deepened, his muscles coiling. His siblings flanked outward, forming a protective triangle around Lena. Their lips curled back, revealing rows of crystalline teeth capable of shearing through durasteel. The bridge security team reached for their weapons. Lena simply smiled and placed her hand on Threx's head. "Easy, big guy. He's just scared." "Scared?" Varric's scales flared violet now, genuine offense. "I am a decorated Coalition commander. I fear nothing." "Then why are you threatening kids?" Lena's voice remained gentle, but her eyes had gone hard. "They're babies, Commander. They just watched their entire family die, and now you're shouting, making aggressive gestures and surrounding them with armed guards." She scratched behind Threx's auditory ridge, and the cub's growl subsided slightly. "Of course they're defensive. They think you're going to hurt me." Lieutenant Prin, a Centaurian with compound eyes and entirely too many limbs, tentatively spoke up. "Dr. Chen, why would they think you need protection? You're— Forgive me, but you're human. Physically, you're one of the least threatening species on this ship." Lena laughed, a bright, genuine sound that seemed absurdly out of place given the tension. "That's exactly why they're protective. Humans might not have claws or natural armor, but we've got something that transcends biology." She knelt down, bringing herself eye level with Threx. The cub immediately pressed his massive head against her shoulder, a gesture of trust that made several bridge officers step back involuntarily. "We've got pack bonding," Lena continued. "It's not logical. It's not always safe, but it's arguably the most human thing about us. We adopt everything. Creatures that could kill us, animals that want nothing to do with us, even robots and artificial intelligences. We see something vulnerable, something alone, and we just claim it as ours." She stood, and the 3 cubs moved with her, synchronized. These 3 lost everything. They were vulnerable, terrified, and alone. So I did what any human would do. I became their pack. "And they?" She gestured to the cubs, who were now watching Varric with less aggression and more wariness. "They returned the favor. I'm not their prey or their master. I'm their vulnerable thing. So when you threaten me, you're threatening their entire pack. Varric's scales gradually faded to a neutral gray. His military training warred with his instincts. Finally he spoke, his voice carefully controlled. The Karvathi government has been contacted. They're sending a delegation to collect the cubs in 6 days when we reach Waystation Omega. Good, Lena said simply. They should be with their own people. Until then, Varric continued, they remain your responsibility. Any incidents, any injuries, any damage, it falls on you. Understood. Commander. Varric studied her for a long moment, then surprised everyone by making a saurian gesture of respect, a slow blink and a tilt of the head. Your species is either incredibly brave or incredibly foolish. Dr. Chen, I have not yet determined which. Lena grinned. That infuriatingly confident human expression that made predator species nervous and prey species hopeful. Maybe we're both, Commander. That's what makes us human. As the bridge crew returned to their stations and the tension dissipated, Lieutenant Prin approached cautiously. Dr. Chen? May I ask something? Sure. What will you do when the delegation arrives? When you have to... Let them go? Lena's smile faltered for just a moment. She looked down at Threx, whose eyes met hers with startling intelligence. I'll do what Pac does, Lieutenant. I'll make sure they're safe, make sure they're going somewhere good, and then... She swallowed hard. Then I'll let them go because that's what's best for them. Threx made a small chirping sound, the Karvathi equivalent of contentment, and pressed closer. But until then, Lena added, her grin returning, we're Pac, and nobody messes with Pac. In the corner of the bridge, Commander Varric watched the human and her unlikely guardians, and thought perhaps he'd finally determined the answer to his earlier question. Humans were both brave and foolish, and that made them absolutely terrifying.